Story 1. I do not know if it counts, but I would like to get rid of my cancer. Story 2. My mind never stops racing. One thought after another, sometimes at work, sometimes while doing a project, and sometimes while trying to sleep. It's exhausting, so I would obviously want my penis to be bigger, laughing out loud. Story 3. I would not mind a more normal pace of aging. I feel like I am speed running life. I began puberty at 9 years old. My balding process began around 13 or 14 years old. I developed chronic medical conditions at 20 years old. I started to have gray body hairs at 30 years old. Story 4. I wish I could turn my depression level completely off. I might actually have succeeded if I had turned it off earlier in my life. Story 5. As a man, I just want to be smaller. Being over 2 meters tall really sucks. Yes, there are a few small benefits, but the negatives far outweigh them. Good luck finding well-fitting shoes in your size. Want a new t-shirt? Either buy size 4 extra large or walk around with your belly exposed. New beds that are 10% longer cost about 50% more. A suit? Don't even dream of finding one that isn't tailored. You think that's the worst? Do you know how much a raised kitchen costs so you don't ruin your back? Have fun getting to work in a small car or paying for a large one. Work often has low surfaces or desks that are nowhere near ergonomic. Then there are the health issues, generally higher weight that wears out your joints and a heart that is not well suited to that size. There is also the need to eat more. It is nice to eat more without gaining weight, but it is expensive if you want to eat healthy. I'd readily accept being only 1.80 meters. Heck, give me the option to be 1.65 meters and I would still take it. It must be fun to move around weighing only 70 kilograms instead of over 100 and not having to watch out for bumping your head on door frames. Story 6. Turn the required sleep quantity dial from 8 hours to 6 hours. Story 7. Alcohol tolerance and belly fat need to be lowered significantly. Story 8. Memory retention. I was always considered smart as a kid, labeled gifted. I never thought about why I could not remember my teachers' names from the previous year. Later in college, I noticed my foundational math knowledge evaporating when I needed earlier skills like trigonometry for Calculus 2. I failed once. The second attempt was harder, and by the third I could not remember my Calculus I derivatives. At one point I had to retake a chemistry class because it had been too long since the first time. I passed, but I expected it to be easy, and most of the semester felt like seeing the material for the first time. Nowadays, at work I will open a document I worked on a couple of months ago and have no recollection of creating it. Story 9. Immortality? My plan is to live forever. So far, so good. Story 10. Regeneration. I'm not talking about Wolverine, but regenerating teeth, knees, and head injuries would be amazing. Story 11. I wish I could reduce my sleep requirement from 6 to 0 hours. It would make managing my life much easier, allow time to build a side business, and let me be fully present for my young family. There is never enough time or energy in the day to do much more than what is necessary. Story 12. An acquaintance of mine looks like a bodybuilder, but he does not lift anything other than hamburgers and beer. I lived with him for 6 years in a small house, and I have never seen him even consider going to the gym. He is a total square. Meanwhile, I go to the gym, eat well, sleep well, and improve my routines. I am barely wide enough for the rain to hit me. I am quite strong, but I do not look it at all. It is crazy. So naturally, I would choose a bigger penis. Story 13. Vocal range. I just need to be able to hit an E and F sharp. I would trade my soul. Story 14. My energy level is low, and I am tired of being fatigued. To feel better to some degree, I need to maintain vitamin D and iron levels. Chronic illness is not a joke. Story 15. I would love to have perfect vision without glasses. I have good vision with glasses, but I envy people who do not need them. Story 16. My mental health has been affected. If I did not have problems associated with trauma, depression, and addiction, my life would become immediately better. Story 17. Flexibility. I am so stiff that some people think I have rigor mortis. Story 18. Snoring amount. I have not slept well for over 25 years. even while using a continuous positive airway pressure device every night. Having central and obstructive apnea means my brain and body are both trying to choke me to death. It is fun. Story 19. My cholesterol is high despite eating a healthy diet and being in good shape. Because I also have anxiety, I am convinced I will die of a heart attack within the next 5 years due to my genetics. Story 20. I have a rare disorder called erythromelalgia. Causes very intense burning in my limbs. I would like to get rid of it. Story 21. Whatever helps my heart work better. I have bradycardia and this is awful. Story 22. I wish I were taller than 5 feet 1 inch. Even when I am mad, no one takes me seriously. Story 23. If I did not have asthma, my yoga and meditation practice would be 100% deeper, and I would progress faster. At this rate, it will take 10 years, but without asthma, I could achieve the same in 2 years. Breathing changes many physiological markers in your body. Stop wishing and look up breathing exercises for altered states of consciousness. Story 24. The speed at which my hidradenitis suppurativa seems to be spreading is alarming. I would like it to slow down. Story 25. My stamina for Mondays, stat somehow never maxes out when I need it most. Story 26. I am all about the 3-day protein shake for the 1 day each week when I am still not 100% confident in my post-workout gains. Story 27. Boost metabolism and be able to see more than 2 feet ahead without glasses or contact lenses. Story 28. Kan iemand mij een pijltje omhoog geven? Dan kan ik ook posten. Maar om de vraag te beantwoorden, gene. Story 29. Diabetes causes many problems in the body that are not discussed enough. Everyone knows about potential blindness and toe amputations, but there are other issues that appear earlier and can be serious. Cuts take a long time to heal and are prone to infection. Yeast infections are common. Diabetes also causes chronic inflammation and erectile dysfunction. Story 30. I would like a very deep voice so I could be cast in movies as a background voice and in animation. That would be an awesome job, in my opinion. Story 31. I need 9 to 10 hours of sleep per night to feel fully rested, but my life would be much easier if I could get by with 6 to 7 hours. Story 32. Being a light sleeper, I wake at every little sound. Story 33. Intelligence. I am incredibly illogical and stupid to the point that it affects my daily life. I struggle to find patterns and to compose clear, engaging sentences, and it is especially noticeable in my social interactions. I have difficulty working in teams because I get easily distracted and cannot function well in a group. Maybe a 20-point increase in intelligence quotient would help. Story 34. I finally became healthy. I exercised, quit drinking, and lost 60 pounds without medication, but my stomach is always upset now. I am so tired of the daily suffering. Story 35. I have a serious sleep disorder, and the only medications that work cause nausea, weight gain, and depression. Lifestyle changes helped a little, but even doctors agree that I will never be able to hold a regular job with regular hours. I would really like to change my sleep state. Story 36. Height is often the first thing people notice about men. Taller men often receive more respect from other men and more attraction from women. Story 37. I'm holding my breath. I would crank it up to 9 minutes or so. Oh, and +2 in dexterity would be helpful. Story 38. Penis size is okay, but a longer, thicker penis would be ideal. Story 39. Chronic fatigue. No matter what I do, whether I eat well, sleep regularly, or take vitamins, I am always tired. I eat a healthy diet and am at a healthy weight. I sleep 8 to 9 hours a night and have tried supplements. I am still tired, which makes it hard to do my hobbies because I cannot when I am sleepy. Story 40. I have 2 concerns. 1. I need to lose weight. I am trying. It is just hard. Laugh out loud. 2. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it is very difficult for me to remember things sometimes. I get distracted and forget to finish tasks I am doing, such as washing the dishes. Story 41. Reduce my migraine triggers. They limit everything, including my hobbies. I write a lot, and migraine-induced brain fog, which is now a near-daily occurrence because this is a chronic issue, really sucks. Story 42. Lowering my resting heart rate so I can pretend I am secretly an elite marathon runner. Story 43. I have a beard but a baby face. Some people find it attractive. I don't, to be honest. Story 44. Bigger, more proportionate legs. I work my legs regularly at the gym, but they still look underdeveloped. They are strong and defined, yet remain small. Story 45. Increase motivation from its current negative level to at least 1. Story 46. I wish I weren't so susceptible to motion sickness and nausea. It makes Uber rides, public transit, and travel in general challenging. Story 47. Turn my anxiety way down, especially social anxiety. It has had a major negative impact on my life. Story 48. Higher muscular endurance or more fast-twitch muscle fibers. Story 49. Realistically, it would be self-control, but I lack it, so I'd say penis size. Story 50. This rooster is a nightmare. It is constantly getting in the way. Story 51. I have multiple damaged joints. My knees, shoulders, elbows, and back have either had surgery or will need surgery. Story 52. Can I reverse my fibromyalgia and colitis? If not, I will probably change my height from 5 feet 2 inches to 6 feet or 7 feet. Story 53. My blood sugar is so hard to manage. I have polycystic ovary syndrome, and it goes out of control during my period, bringing my monthly average into the high prediabetic range. I do everything right with my diet, physical activity, and stress management, but it does not matter when my period starts. It all goes out the window. Story 54. 1. My face, my height, my hands, my head shape, my flat feet. All of that, and play the Joker for the winner. Story 55. Recovery time. Imagine taking a nap and your body resets like a video game character. No soreness, no fatigue, no overthinking. Just instantly fully charged. Story 56. I really wish I could be one of those people who are satisfied with 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. It would free up so much time. Story 57. You know, the endurance or injury and fatigue statistic in sports games that indicates how likely a person is to get injured. That describes me. Before I turned 30, I had 1. Spinal surgery. 2. Shoulder surgery. 3. Undiagnosed concussions. 4. Achilles tendonitis. 5. Another injured shoulder. Thanks, football. Story 58. I wish my amygdala would calm down and stop perceiving everything as a threat. Story 59. Chronic pain here, so I will say a pain level of 0 and a health level of 100. Story 60. I wish I could make my body stop falling apart. Every day something else hurts. When one thing recovers, something else falls apart. I am so fucking tired of it. Story 61. I wish I could get my energy level back. Something unknown is blocking my energy, and no amount of potions seems to help. Story 62. My psychology is that I need to dedicate more time and energy to cultivating kindness and compassion toward myself, deliberately shifting the attention I usually give to others. Story 63. I have a low-grade headache every day. It usually rates between 4 and 6 on a 10-point pain scale. There is nothing that can be done about it. I have a condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. I had brain surgery for this condition and I still cannot get relief. Story 64. Can my degenerative discs be one? Oh, actually, misophonia. Life would be so much easier and nicer without it. I would take the back pain any day. Story 65. Is regeneration a stat? That is what I want. A body that heals very quickly from anything. Story 66. I would increase my dexterity. I am so clumsy, like a 5 in dexterity. Story 67. I wish I had not been born with poor genetics. I have had many surgeries and experienced a lot of pain. It would have been nice to have normal tooth density as well. Story 68. Stamina. As a person with chronic anemia, I would like to be able to walk around the block without feeling out of breath. Story 69. I just wish I wasn't so dummy thick as a man. So many impromptu twerk-offs. Story 70. From dark to light, I prefer my body hair to be less visible. Story 71. My Garmin sleep score has been 50 to 60 for weeks. I would love to get 90 consistently, but my brain disagrees. I already do all the things that are supposed to help me sleep, but nothing helps. Story 72. I'd like to return to my character and redo its appearance and voice. Story 73. I don't mind being a slightly below average 5'8". What really pisses me off is that I have a perfectly proportional 32-inch sleeve length, and everything seems to be just out of reach all the effing time. I wish I needed a size 34 shirt and a size 44 long suit coat instead of a size 44 regular. Story 74. I am pretty sure there is something seriously wrong with my heart, but I have been putting off getting checked. I finally bit the bullet, but I will not be examined until the end of January. Story 75. My shoulder was injured 11 years ago and was never treated. Story 76. I just wish I weren't so tall and handsome, you know? A smaller penis would be nice. Gosh. Story 77. I wish I were not cross-eyed, also known as lazy eye. I have had 3 surgeries with no improvement. It is irreparable because my father was a product of incest. Not to sound vain, but I would otherwise be absolutely gorgeous and unstoppable if I did not have this. Story 78. In 2019, before going on a quiet holiday, I had my eyes checked. They found only a minor deviation, but I decided to wear contact lenses so I could enjoy complete immersion during my holiday. 6 years later, my eyesight has become much worse without the contact lenses because I got used to wearing them. If I could change one thing about my body, I would choose penis enlargement. Story 79. I frequently get migraines. I would like to reduce how often I get them. Story 80. I need a fatter penis. It is long enough, but it is too skinny. Story 81. I would like better lungs. Asthma is difficult, especially when I get sick and the cough lingers for weeks. It seems to be getting worse as I age. It makes all forms of exercise much harder than they should be. Story 82. Whatever the fuck gives me headaches all the time. Take that shit away. Story 83. Oh, that's easy. Depression minus 100. Story 84. I have degenerative disc disease throughout my lumbar spine extending into the first sacral vertebra. I would prefer not to. Story 85. I am not going to say anything about that because I have tried to change everything and I guess nothing works. You are destroying your body to make it appear that you are perfect and want everyone to be like you. In reality, I would change my mind because my thoughts are not clear when I tell people the truth. They would not sabotage me as much, and they would be even more afraid of me if I told them how smart I am. Story 86. I want my physical appearance, including my height, to be shorter and more feminine. Story 87. I wish I had the same long hair I had when I was younger. Story 88. I would change the number of working pancreases from 0 to 1. Story 89. Pain. I was not a war hero, but my body was not cut out for the military. I suffered several injuries and health issues from my time in the service, and I am in pain every day. Story 90. I would like to maximize my immune system to the point where it is physically impossible to become ill. Story 91. I think these are my priorities. 1. Reduce inattentive symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I would like to be able to listen to people without tuning them out. 2. Increase metabolism to what it was in my 20s. 3. Increase maximal oxygen uptake. I am poor at cardiovascular exercise. 4. Eliminate allergies. There are a few other small things I would consider tweaking: being a bit taller, a bit stronger, and having slightly more cheekbone definition. But none of those would be remotely close to consideration if I could only choose one. Story 92. My aphantasia and lack of an inner voice make me feel like an alien or a robot. Story 93. I wish I could maintain a weight of 180 to 190 pounds without working out. Story 94. Body to limb proportion. I have the torso of a person who would be about 6 feet, and the limbs of someone who would be about 5 feet 5 inches. I do not care whether you lengthen my arms and legs or shorten my torso. I would just like clothing to fit properly and to be able to reach behind my back fully. Story 95. My back has been an issue for a long time. I had a period when I could not walk properly because of excruciating pain, and the duration made me susceptible to many injuries. I had surgery to fix the worst of it, and I am terrified it will recur. Naturally, I would want a larger penis. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.